Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategies, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon Haddad.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
We're back to talk. We got a lot going on today. We got the Broker Buzz, where we dive into the top posts of the week from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group to discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. Then we'll go into some sales pitch training, where John helps us become better salespeople. Then we will wrap things up with story time with John. But first, the fortune cookie.
Yes, sir.
Never fails to make a mess on my desk. I'm getting better at containing the mess.
Does it have a fortune?
It does. Ooh. Patience is the key to a loving mind.
That's true. Patience is the key. Yeah, I feel like you just start to become more forgiving of yourself.
Yes.
Is what at least for me, I won't, I don't know. What's your thoughts? Do you feel like you've been more forgiving on yourself as you've gone through life?
Yes. I have experienced more adult situations that required me to be much older than I am, or typically you are much older when you make these. It has shown me what truly matters and helped me prioritize what's important to me. But when I read this, I almost read listening is the key to a loving mind instead of patience. Like patience is the listening, to not jump into action when someone starts speaking, but to fully listen and let them get out everything that they need to get out, retain it, and then, depending on who I'm talking to, ask if they're looking for advice, or just give them the advice if I know they're looking for advice, or my feedback or what I think about the situation. Because you should have a loving mind towards not just your partner, but your friends, your coworkers. This applies to everyone. Like you should listen fully before engaging.
You're spot on, and that takes time depending on like your mind and how it operates and works. I think the other piece of it too, when adding more to it, it's your own internal piece. I believe as part of it, part of the internal process is a lot of people go down paths like anxiety, whatever the case might be. Like I'm one of them, and it's just how I'm wired. And it's not like it's a bad thing. I'm just wired that way to, here we go, like chaos. And just learning how to even deal with that, learning how to ask yourself questions. So like if I go down a path of chaos in my head, okay, why am I doing that? Why am I going through that? Why do I think that's going to happen? What leads me to believe this is occurring? So the other piece of that process is learning to understand your own brain and your own mind, your own internal voice, and getting yourself to that place of patience. Because if you can learn to be patient with yourself, oh my, then what is anyone else going to do? How's anybody else going to get you riled up? How's anybody else going to throw you off if you've learned to be truly patient with yourself? That's a whoo, you become dangerous when you get down that path.
Yeah. And speaking of patient with yourself, I have always been, and kind of tying into our mutual love of video games, I've always been a competitive gamer. One of the recent life changes I've made is starting to go back for the first time since maybe high school, is playing single player games. And yes, it's a little less social, but the amount of time that I'm playing games these days, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be a social thing anymore. And just having the patience with myself to not feel, it takes off the edge of needing to keep up, to keep putting in the hours to stay with the team or stay with like the knowledge base of whatever competitive nature is going on in the game. But yeah, that's how I've found patience with myself recently.
I love that. And it's crazy too, because video games they're you before you'd play the same game and you could what to expect, but now with the way they can update things, these same games that you're playing are legit changing on a monthly basis. So if you're not putting in you're right, like it can consume you so fast.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying, but let's be clear, I have played a lot of video games in my day, in my years. but it does consume you if you're not going to be completely committed to it. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's dive into the broker buzz top discussions of the week. First one this week. What's the biggest shift you've seen in the wholesale channel in the past year? So going back to May 2024.
There's a few things that come to mind when I think about just like the biggest shifts. One, I feel like people are more hopeful right now. And that's across the board for all loan officers, not just wholesale specific. People are starting to see it. People are starting to get, more excited about it, about what's to come. But honestly, one of the big changes that I've really noticed is a lot of these lenders are spending a lot of money making their product better, which was really cool. You would think that a lot of them would start to peel back and hey, shoot, it's been 3 years of this. Like we're getting hit, we're getting crushed. And don't get me wrong, there's been some casualties in this process and lenders that aren't in business anymore. But a lot of these other lenders, they learned their lesson from 2008. A lot of them that were around during then, it wasn't nearly as drastic as it was in 2008. Like they were prepared, they were dialed in, they had expectations. A lot of them had reserves, they had money put aside. It was really cool to see that. So we're in a great place from that perspective. The other piece of it is perspective, right? It is the perspective of, hey, there was 2008. Look where we're at right now. It's not as bad. We don't have the same problems we had in '08. So people are being more optimistic and more dialed in. One of the areas that I hate that I think this is just more of the loan officer mortgage channel in general, not loan officer mortgage channel in general. It's the amount of keyboard warriors. That's been I just didn't grow up that way. I'm like a call me or talk to me in person kind of person, the guy. But like these keyboard warriors that are trying to strum things up and take people's focus off of generating business and fear mongering and all this is just that's just wild to me. So I'm excited to see rates continue to go down. I think it'll make people stop focusing on the stupidity and put their mind on where it needs to be, which is our consumers and people that need us to be focused and dialed in. I've been thinking about that quite a bit. Like that noise is so wild, but that's because social media and the way things are nowadays, it's just kind of going down that path. So those are kind of the two things that I've paid a lot of attention to over the last year.
Absolutely. Yeah, the keyboard warrior thing strikes me because I watched a quick video, it was a short or something yesterday about actress or sorry, female singer who there was one picture posted and then of her like a couple years ago and then a picture of her recently wearing a similar outfit and but like maybe 15 pounds heavier. And then there
Oh,
were
I
just
already know.
all these and then the video showed all these comments of all these nasty things people were saying about her and uh still looked beautiful, obviously, but uh then what happened in the video was they showed uh they showed uh the pictures of the people that were commenting. Like they went and took the profile picture
Oh
of
my
the comment.
God.
And it's just like these people have no no room to speak. Um, pot calling the kettle black, I guess. But yeah, it was interesting for sure. So I too have noticed the increase of keyboard warriors, and I also you mentioned '08. I have noticed a lot that being brought up a lot more, but I also don't see the similarities. It's kind of just like '08 is a reference for a really bad time, but it's the situation is different now.
It's so different. I mean, people have so much value in their homes. In 2008, there was an equity issue, right? People didn't have equity. Everyone was underwater because of what happened. We are in the complete opposite. People have more equity than they've ever had. That's just that. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So there's definitely a difference in the air.
Yeah. All right, number 2. What trends are you seeing in borrower behavior right now?
Much more open to shopping. Um, So over the last, so here's my take on it, and this is just some of it I have data on, some of it is more of a gut, and I'll kind of fill you in on both. So data wise, data indicators, initial outpour when rates went up. For those that remember, just think about the calls that you had for our listeners. A lot of those clients that were calling as rates started to go up were like, you know what, we'll just wait a little bit to see if rates come down. They were still shocked that rates had gone from 2%, 3% to 5, 6, 7, 8%, which is what happened. And so that initial shock was our first like year into this as rates went up in 22, I believe. So like a year of that was occurring. Then end of 23 going into 24-ish, you started to see consumers understand that this is just the environment. All right, this isn't changing. You started to see home prices, home sales, all of that started to move. 23 actually was lighter in terms of home sales, but then the data just came out for 2024 and home sales actually went up, and they're expecting to go up again this year. So consumers are starting to be acclimated with this market, and it is what it is. They're just being accepting of what's going on. Now, from their behavior standpoints, there's been a lot of resources and money put into shopping. So these are companies that are either blasting out messages. These are marketplace organizations that are showcasing 3, 4, 5 different lenders. When clients get a 7%, they're just going to look for, on Google or on GPT, what is the average rate? And if it says anything less than the 7% they're getting offered, they're going to go look, even though they don't realize their credit score takes into account all this other factors take into account. But then that's opening the door. So now when you're talking to consumers, even if it's a purchase, if it's a referral, they're talking more about shopping than they ever have before. And that's not a bad thing. What I do believe, though, for us as loan officers is we got to now learn how to get in front of that early and bring that conversation up and not just assume that they're going to use you because somebody referred them over. So I like to do things like, hey, tell me, what have you heard about the market so far? Fill me in. What are your expectations? What have you read on Google? Are you like me? Did you WebMD yourself? Every time I'm sick, I go on to WebMD and it tells me I'm dying.
I heard rates are coming down next month.
Okay, where did you hear that?
The internet.
Well, listen, I'll tell you right now, you and I both hope rates go down next month. For your sake and for my sake, I think it'll make this process really easy for both of us. But how much do rates have to drop for you to actually want to make a decision and move forward? Like realistically, do you know that number?
2%.
2%. Okay. So realistically speaking, we got to get ourselves on the same page of what's most important to you. Is owning this home really important? Can you afford it? Or are you really going to be stuck on that payment and on the interest? And if you are, we just got to make sure that we find a place of compromise, because 2% right now is definitely not something that's going to happen over the next month. That's going to be a gradual process that'll take time, probably 12 to 18 months, and even longer than that to drop 2%. So realistically speaking, why is this home or potentially buying a home important for you and your family?
We need the space.
And then and that's it. Like you just go down these paths, you bring it up. What have you heard? What have you seen? Who can offer you this? Who can offer you that? It is just so important to bring this stuff up. But that's been the biggest change I've seen with consumer behavior.
Awesome. Number 3, what marketing tactics are working best for your business this year?
Marketing tactic wise, so many things are working very well. I'm seeing hits with people doing YouTube, long form YouTube on niche products. Shout out Emmett Dempsey, by the way. He has I was talking to him in Florida, and he has this amazing long YouTube on reverse mortgages. And I was with him and he was showing me how a client literally watched the whole video, set up a consultation, and then was asking him all the questions that Emmett had gone through in the video just to get more clarity on it. So that was so cool to me to watch how he's building his presence that way. I think there's a lot of opportunity there for loan officers alike to find niche products, get on YouTube, and really build that out. So I love seeing that from a marketing play. People are dialed into SEO right now, which is paid marketing and advertising, and then SEM, which is organic growth. So people just organically coming to your website and learning how to structure that. The other piece from a marketing standpoint, it's the way you stay in touch with your clients after they close. How unique and creative are you, right? How are the check-ins? How are you able to stay in front of them? How are you asking for referrals? after it's done? How are you making sure that if they do plan on refinancing, they're thinking about you right away? So those are just some of the things that I think about that have been working very well from a marketing standpoint.
Just one correction. SEO is organic, is search engine optimization. It's basically getting your website up and running. So the keywords and everything, when people search things, if you rank high for those keywords that they are searching, that your website will pop up. But the YouTube thing is huge, and SEO ties into that as well. I see a lot of people on YouTube. Beginner mistake is to just leave a short description of what you're doing. Include hashtags. Make it long. No one reads it, right? Everyone just watches the video. No one reads your description, but Google does and YouTube does. So that will vastly increase, like put all the keywords in there of all the things that might make someone want to watch your video. And that is SEO for YouTube and both for your website. Don't need to include hashtags on your website, but hashtags do definitely pop up for YouTube, including trending and stuff like that. So,
Thanks, sir.
absolutely. So, gotta keep my marketing when I get a chance to talk about things.
I love it, dude. You know it. You get it.
Oh, absolutely. And if you want your question read on the podcast, you can become an AIME member by scanning the QR code on the next ad. But if you are an AIME member, if you want your question read here, use hashtag broker power up question in your post. So when it comes through, we can search for it, find it, and have it read here on the podcast. So we'll see you on the other side to do some sales pitch training.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com/membership. Your community is waiting.
And we're back. All right, John. How are we going to become a better salesperson?
Tommy, do you know about the law of contrast?
No.
All right. So the law of contrast. So most humans, a majority of humans, make decisions based on contrast, not absolutes. And so
only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Only yes. So you cannot put yourself in positions to always sound like you are dealing with absolutes. The law of contrast is about putting humans in the framework that we've been in for thousands and thousands of years. It's how we learn. It's how we go into situations. So the law of contrast is something that I find to be very underutilized. We are in positions to where I talk to a lot of people and they feel like they have to sell hard and, you know, I got to attack the situation and I got to be super dialed in. And why wouldn't they do this? If they don't do this, it doesn't make sense. I can't believe it. I can't believe you're not doing this loan, saving you so much money, whatever the case is. That doesn't work. You got to give consumers the law of contrast. So what is the law of contrast? How does it work? So let me give you an idea of the law of contrast. So let's just say you're setting up a client in terms of a refinance opportunity, and it's a great refinance, and there's an opportunity for the client to save a lot of interest on this loan. But for some reason, you're not getting through. For some reason, something's missing. The loan makes a ton of financial sense. So what you do is you say something like this. You could say, you know, Tommy, there are some things you're saying that are correct, and you could keep your current loan. And here's what I do know: if you keep your current loan, you could end up paying $180,000 extra over the next 20 years, or with the option I put in front of you, you can knock that down $112,000. So that's basically a $68,000 decision right there. That's the law of contrast, right? I can't believe you're not doing this. It doesn't make sense. Versus you could keep the current loan, and it's going to cost you $180,000 over the next 20 years. That's how principal and interest works. You've already seen that. We've gone through it. Or we could knock it down to $112,000. That's $68,000 in savings right there. That's a decision that you have to make. So you tell me, how much is the $68,000 decision worth to you and your family?
I now think about this a lot more. I listen to, while I work or in the evenings, I listen to a lot of financial podcasts and how to manage money, how to do a lot of that stuff. I just find it fascinating. And one of the things that's been coming up recently is a lot of people focus on the small decisions. Like, oh, I bought a Red Bull at 7-Eleven for $5. And I do that every day. And that's why I don't have money for XYZ. But really, it's oh, I bought a $70,000 car when I probably could have gotten away with and could afford a $25,000 car. But I wanted that fancy car. I needed that fancy car. So that big, but you're blind to it because it's just one of your bills. It's one of your expenses. You signed up for it. And so you look at the small purchases, and that's where you see your money going. But you don't see that big decision that you made.
Dude, it's the micro habits, right? The little things that add up. And this is, and this is just like human psychology, right? Part of sales is just this, and it's all about risk assessment. That's the whole idea. Like every decision you make has some sort of risk tied to it, whether the risk is incredibly minimal or high. The reality is that's just how it works. Is decisions that you make are going to have risk. And the law of contrast just allows you to stay cool and calm. Like when a client says something like, "Oh, it doesn't make sense," a lot of us freak out. Like we panic, we can't believe it. And I understand in certain instances, I get it. You might not be writing a lot of loans a month. It might be your only opportunity for the month. I understand. However, you're in sales. And so you got to learn to live with the fact that people are just flat out allowed to tell you no. Our job is to get us to a place to where we can articulate ourselves to a consumer to provide a benefit, obviously make sure it's beneficial and valuable to the consumer, and to ensure that we're communicating it in the best light possible and wanting that client to work with us. That's on us. They don't need to work with us. They don't owe us that. They do not owe us that at all. Some people are in that mindset. So giving yourself the best opportunity makes sense. And part of it is also saying it in a way that isn't like talking down to them. I that's why I like to do contrast in certain situations. So, like here's another one, like a home purchase example, right? You could wait another year to buy a home. And some of the things you said are spot on. And as we've seen with the data, the price of this home could go up $20,000 and rates might not go down that much. So what are you really waiting for? Clarity or regret?
Obviously, I'd prefer clarity.
And how would it upset you if this home went up $25,000 in value and rates stayed the same and you had the chance to buy it today? Yeah, would it upset you a year from today? Okay. Yeah. Now
maybe not a year from today, but today, yes.
That's what it, right? And so all you're doing is like, okay, if you're going to come at me with the risk of the other side, I'm also going to explain the risk of this side. I have the right to do that, and you have the right to tell me what it is. Here's what I do know from a data standpoint. I know that real estate has been one of the best investments for people of all time. I posted about it. It did not make the most millionaires, by the way. That is a lie. Real estate did not make the most millionaires, but on average, The average net worth is about, I think it was about $348,000 higher by being a homeowner. So that's the data. That's what it says. And that's data across millions and millions of different points. That's not like a sample of 5 people. This is all people with real estate that have gone through this process. So the law of contrast, how good are you at the law of contrast? How great are you at getting people in that opportunity to where you're not defensive? You're just kind of bringing things up. You could stay where you're at with rising payments on your HELOC. You just mentioned to me that the payments have gone up because we know it's variable and the market's been moving a lot. Or you could roll everything into one stable fixed monthly payment and get your time and peace of mind back.
That brought up a question. HELOCs, they're all adjustable?
Yeah. So So a home equity line of credit is adjustable. There's also different kinds of products that are fixed seconds, but that is different. But HELOCs are going to be adjustable rate mortgages. They're going to work pretty much just like your credit card works right now, which is going to be a lot to do with how people are borrowing money and what the Federal Reserve rate's at, plus several other factors that get taken into consideration.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, it really does come down to the small to the big decisions. Like, treat the big decisions with the weight that it should be. Like, it's thousands and thousands of those micros in one decision.
It adds up, my friend.
Certainly does. Well, if you would like to become a better salesperson, there's only one place that you can go, and that is Fuse. So scan the QR code, and we'll see you on the other end.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting-edge content we've ever produced, featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimgroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIME annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
So usually I'm pretty good at these transition things. We have a culprit that really messed with my flow here. So I'm just gonna put blame on this guy. This is
No, you're good, man. I was messaging you on the
needs
side.
to know. I was hoping it wasn't coming through the mic, but
no, you're good. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, wait. I thought it was. I'm at my work office right now. I'm not at my home office. So for a second, I'm like, thought it was like my kids. I said, wait, no, I'm not at home.
Nope.
And so then I was like, what is that? And then I realized what it was, and I started laughing. I said, that's awesome.
It was the cat. But yeah, so let's get into some story time. John, the floor is yours.
The law of contrast, my friends, we are not going to shy away from it. Tommy, if you recall, I know you're behind the scenes right now, but if you recall, my friend, before, MP3 players, before any of that crazy stuff, what did we have? What did we have to do to listen to music? What was it?
CDs.
CDs, my friend. You nailed it. I wasn't sure if you were going to say cassette or CDs. But
cassettes was before CDs. I had cassettes. I was in the cassette era.
Me too. Briefly. Yeah. Actually, the first. Quick stories. my cousin. So the Eminem CD came out. It was the cassette actually in '99. I was 8 years old, and my cousin, who probably shouldn't have done this, bought me the Eminem cassette, and I went home and I played it, and I was listening to it, and my mom was vacuuming, and I had my headphones plugged in, to the jack. And as she
Hmm.
was vacuuming, she kind of came by, and the vacuum got caught in the cord, and it came out of the speakers that I had them plugged into, these big speakers, and then it started playing Eminem. And let's just say my mom heard it, and I had to start sprinting, running up the stairs as fast as humanly possible. I love you, Mom. Okay. Uh,
Something about moms and Eminem. They don't get along very well.
no,
My mom also did not like me listening to Eminem.
no,
So I
she
hid in
she
my
likes him
room
more
and listened
now.
to the CD.
She likes him more now. It's hilarious. But here's the thing. So power of contrast. We just said it, right? CDs. And if you wanted to listen to something, you had to take a CD, and you'd get probably 12 to 14 songs on there. You'd be able to listen, and you can keep changing them in and out on your Walkman or whatever it was that you were using. I had this little gold Walkman CD player that I would travel with, and I put it in my pocket. I tried to go running with it. Never worked out very well. And then came along this guy named Steve Jobs, and he started to do something called the iPod. And in 2001, Apple launched the iPod, and Steve Jobs had to convince the world to switch from CD players to MP3 and something completely new. So, what did Steve Jobs do? What he didn't do is he didn't come in talking about all the tech and all the different things that are part of this process and how amazing this technology is and how great and how beautiful it is. He simply used the law of contrast. Here's what he said. He said to people, he said, you could keep using a CD and listen to your 12 to 14 songs. You could use a mini disc, clunky and unfamiliar. You could use an MP3 players, confusing and low capacity. Or you could slip your entire music library of 1,000 or more songs into your pocket. And you can actually find interviews of him doing this and saying stuff like this. That was his marketing genius. He didn't really attack too hard. He didn't go at him. He just said, yeah, you could do that. Listen to your 12 songs. Here are my 1,000 songs that are in my pocket, and I click a button. Tommy, I see you coming front and forward, my friend. What do you got to say about it?
Life is good, but it could be better.
Yes, sir. Life is good, and it could be better. And that is the constant way that many other marketing companies have been able to grow their brand, the law of contrast. They are literally helping you fix small little issues. And they're doing it in a way and marketing themselves in a way that just make it unreasonable to not at least try it. I remember getting my first iPod. I remember the songs on there. I remember it had the little scrolly thing over like the circular for those listening, not on video. The scrolly thing doesn't help you, so I apologize. It was a circle, and inside was the play button in the middle, but around that the play button was this circular structure that allowed you to move in and out of your songs back and forth. And I remember getting it, and I was like, "This is awesome! I can run with this thing in my pocket. Oh my goodness, I can work out with this thing without being so clunky." Because I used to take my CD player to go work out. And he changed the world not by attacking and going at everybody else. He changed the world by simply saying, here's a contrast. Easier, better, 1,000 more songs. Give it a shot. And it, my friends, erupted. It erupted. So, the law of contrast. Some of you might think to yourselves, I don't think it works. I will give you billions and billions of reasons why it does work. Actually, Apple's now trillions. Trillions, actually, market cap wise. It's way more than billions. So that's the law of contrast. If you're willing to apply it to your book of business, it'll do nothing but help you propel forward, my friends. The law of contrast. How good are you at it? That is my story for the day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That took me back. I remember getting my first iPod, having U2 on it for some reason and trying to get it off.
Mine was Nickelback.
Oh, no, you got to keep Nickelback on. It's
No,
cool
honestly,
now. It's cool now.
Now it's cool.
Now it's cool to like Nickelback.
Oh, I had some wild stuff on there.
Yeah. No,
I can't even get into
absolutely.
details on what I had on there.
I used to make my own music and put it on there.
That's really
Pretty
cool.
fun.
I used to burn CD players, like burn CDs,
Yeah.
back in
Oh
the
yeah.
day. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
my
That
wild
was my
stuff.
love language. I
Yeah,
used to make mixtapes for my friends and stuff. I was just like, here you go. These are the songs I like that I think that you would like.
not that I was so I was attending parties in high school, and not I was very good, doing nothing bad at the time. Okay, if anyone's watching, not going to incriminate myself here, but I was the DJ generally. So I'd be at home like
Yep.
mixing the song, like, here we go. We're about to drop a banger here this weekend, boys. And so it was always a lot of fun. That
Nickelback
was my
Rockstar,
role.
let's go.
Yeah. No, it played one time. I was in a full panic, just sweating bullets. That's awesome, man.
Cool. Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor, hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content, and share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. Remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.
See you, my friends.